over to Newcastle. Jose Mourinho is understood to have reached out to intermediaries about the Newcastle job. Could you see that happening in the near future?
No, I hope not. I think Jose is brilliant at talking himself up and then talking himself out of jobs to get his payoffs. Over the years, look, he's a lovely, charming gentleman. I've had the pleasure to meet him a few times, but I don't see him fitting Newcastle very well. Uh, Not at the moment, certainly. We'll have to see, but I think Eddie Howe is doing very well. They've got to support Eddie Howe. He can take the club forward again and take it to the next level. They've got a good setup just now. They need stability, and Jose loves tinkering around the edges and creating mayhem. But I don't think he's going to be the next Geordie saviour.
And iNews has reported Newcastle are considering plans for a 10,000 super seat stand at St. James's Park. Could that dramatically increase their match day revenue?
It would increase the revenue, certainly. It would take them from about 53, I think, up to about 64, 65,000. Roughly would be the sort of increase, depending on what the hospitality facilities would be there, which I know would sell out. Look, it would be an extra 8,000 seats, probably to 10,000 seats, depending on how the hospitality structure is put together. It would be an increase in revenue, but all the clubs now are having to find ways to get to that level. It keeps them competitive, which is what they have to do. But the cost of doing it would be what you've got to look at in terms of the actual how it would bring money into the club. It could be a very expensive way to try and operate and get more seats in the stands because, as I understand it, it's involving land built over the metro station underneath the Gallagher end. So we'll have to see if that is feasible at a certain price, because if they become very expensive to build, then of course the revenue off them isn't so great as well. So we've got to see how that develops. This could be the argument between building that new 10,000 piece stand, or is it that expensive, or is it worth actually going and building a new stadium? That will be the debate going on right now in St James's Park, as far as I understand it.
And is this really the main way of increasing the capacity at St. James's Park is one super stand, or are there other possibilities that they could find to make it work and maybe more cost effectively?
I think it's either going to be something like this or a new stadium overall, and that involves also, as I have read anyway, the major mixed use development in St James's Park. So it's a big decision. Both are going to be extremely costly. We're talking in the 800 million. I mean, if you're talking about the 10,000 seat stand that could be as much as 7 to 800 million, that's as much as Everton's whole new stadium has cost. And so all these decisions as we go forward, the costs are doing nothing but increasing for all these developments. And so these are big, big decisions. But of course, clubs run the risk of being left behind unless they've got some developments going forward. There's also then the cost of interest rates and how you actually finance these things. So it's becoming a very complex decision matrix that clubs have got to go through. And I say it could come down to the Saudis and the PIF making a decision about a really big investment for a new stadium, which could be a showpiece for the Northeast and would boost the economy for many years to come. So we'll have to wait and see. It's a tricky one for them all.